The government feedback channel Reach has conducted a snap poll to find out how Singaporeans feel about the illegal strike by SMRT bus drivers from China. Our reporter has the key findings.
Many Singaporeans seem to be aware of the illegal strike, with an average of 85% of respondents indicating awareness. Reach polled some 300 Singaporeans who are 15 years old and above between 30th November and 2nd December. 56% agreed with the government for taking time to ascertain the facts before labelling the action as an illegal strike. 76% felt the government had acted swiftly in bringing the situation under control. Channel News Asia spoke to several commuters who also echoed these views.
Given time that they need to take into consideration what went on, they need to go through the processes. I think the time given that they have acted was quite swift.
Regardless of whether they are from China or other nationality, they have to abide by the laws. Any concern, I believe that they should not just go on strike, but consult with the management.
The media in China had reported that Singaporeans felt sympathetic towards the drivers after details about their salary came to light. But an average of 74% of those polled felt the bus drivers from China should have gone through the proper channels to air their grievances. Commuters also felt the SMRT could have done more. And this was also reflected in the poll, in which 76% agree that while the drivers were in the wrong to have staged a strike, SMRT also bears some responsibility as it did not manage the grievances of the drivers well.
They are talking about complaining about the dormitory, the places that they're staying, they're living in, not in a good condition. They should look into that.
They should have laid down their cards well before recruiting them, and should have told them about the pay scale between Singaporean drivers, Malaysian drivers and China drivers.
In response to the poll findings, SMRT acknowledged the need to improve its management and communication efforts to be more attuned to the needs of its drivers.
And Acting Manpower Minister Tan Chuan Jin spoke about the Reach findings as well as the strike itself in an exclusive interview with Channel News Asia.
In the Reach poll of 313 Singaporeans, 56% agreed with the government for taking the time to ascertain the facts before labelling the action as an illegal strike. Mr. Tan Chuan Jin explained how the decision was made.
From my perspective, it seemed quite clear that this is probably a strike. But at the same time, I think we wanted to make sure that we understood exactly what the facts were, what the circumstances were, how it was unfolding. Because I think once you label it a strike, there'll be a whole series of actions that need to take place. I was also very mindful that when you declare that a strike, then do you have your policies in place, the follow-on actions ready? What if there were repercussions? So you want to make sure that your assets are in place, people are clear what they need to do, following on from that, and thereafter really is to find the right time to make the announcement.
On SMRT management's outreach to the bus drivers following the illegal strike, Mr. Tan said the atmosphere has been positive and constructive. He added that this episode was also a wake-up call for all companies.
This is, management 101. I mean, this is what you expect of any good employer to look after their workers, whether local or otherwise. Are the terms and conditions fair? And if there are differences and so on, how do you make sure that you explain to them so that they understand why those differences exist? Are the avenues for complaints and so on available? Are they working the way they're supposed to, and so on? And these are things which I think all companies actually should pay attention to.
Mr. Tan emphasized that there are rules and regulations to deal with grievances and frustrations, whether they be from employees or employers.
And going on strike or an illegal strike is certainly not a line that we should cross, because it has a lot of ramifications. So that's something that's not trivial.
He added that while the illegal strike has happened, Singapore has very harmonious working relations with generally fair and reasonable Singaporean employers and a lot of foreign workers who are responsible in carrying out their duties.